1 out of every 25 people worldwide lives in a country that is not their own. I am one of them. And I'm sure many of you who are watching and listening are too, or you know someone who is or was. This statistic encapsulates the profound journeys, struggles, failures, and victories, and yes, losses of millions of people who have set out on a journey far from home. A month ago, my father passed away. The loss of a loved one when you are far away is more painful than you can imagine. Many people live with loss every day. Loss that can be physical, loss of identity, or in many other ways. There are fairly common questions for immigrants than where are you from or what your background is, and they are, who am I, and why am I here? 7 years ago, I was covering anti-regime protests in my native Venezuela. A series of events unfolded on one of the darkest days I have ever experienced. I was not spared the brutality of the police. I was beaten, attacked, and unfairly detained. Physically injured, emotionally unstable, and having a panic attack, I soon found myself in exile in the United States, a foreign country, a place with a different culture, climate, way of life, and language. Across the United States, more than 50 million people come from other parts of the world. Yes, I know, I am a journalist and follow facts and coffee. Whether they are first, second, or even third generation migrants, the stories of those who sought a better life for themselves and future generations are intricately woven into American history. Migration is not just a historical event, but it's also a continuing narrative and an integral part of our evolution as a species. Consider the metaphorical journey we all undertake in life. We move from one home to another, change cities, and experience transformation in our thoughts, emotion, and states of consciousness. Migration is an intrinsic aspect of the reality that surrounds us. I am an immigrant, often labeled a political exile, but it's crucial to recognize that whether exiles, asylum seekers, refugees, or expatriates, we are all immigrants at our core. It's just like two lions from different parts of the world in a zoo. One brought from Kenya and another one rescued for a circus in Europe. They are still lions, and they are still in prison. So we cannot imagine one lion saying to the other, well, I am not a savage. And the other one, okay, I am not rescued. My father Buddha lost this joke. He always told bad jokes, but death is a really bad one. There is no difference between these two lions. They are trying to survive, and so are we. We just lost to learn ourselves of the system does it for us. Our backgrounds may be different, yet our shared quest for a better future unites us. Now, what does a better future mean? What happens when in the pursuit of that elusive dream, fear overtakes you? Loneliness engulfs you, and you struggle with the feeling of having abandoned those you love. This is immigrant syndrome, or Ulysses syndrome. The sense of grief in migrating and challenges of uprooting. These are the struggles that has brought me here today with the intention of speaking openly about the complexities of our internal battles, emotions often repressed or unacknowledged in that search for a better future. Likewise, many of us suffer from migratory learning. Imagine leaving everything behind, home, loved ones, pets, connections. You feel that emptiness. It is such a strong feeling, as if you have lost everything. You have nowhere to go back to, and you don't feel part of the place where you are. Trying to fit into a new society without losing your essence, without losing who you are. It's like when you are root a plant transplanted. It has to adapt to a new soil. You are starting again. Another important point is compassion fatigue. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Immigrants feel that they left their people behind, suffering for others who are also suffering at a distance. While working toward my master's degree at the Craig Newman Graduate School of Journalism at CUNY, I met a fellow student from Ukraine who shared her experience of compassion fatigue. She told me how living outside Ukraine, while her country was at war, created an immense emotional burden. It was like feeling divided, her body here, her soul there, with constant concern for those she loved. And another classmate from Palestine feels the same way. There is nothing more heartbreaking than seeing your parents cry for you, missing you, wondering when they will see you again. And maybe they won't, like my father. And worst of all, to feel that we don't make them proud because at some point we failed them. Then you realize it's not your fault. It's not about being a victimizer or a victim. It's about being a survivor. Immigration is survivor. So beyond the stigma, we need to help each other to live a more peaceful life. The thing is, these topics are more than concepts. They are the experiences of many people. In talking with one of my best friends specifically about immigrant syndrome, she told me, what you describe is exactly what I had felt. When the doctor told me that it's depression, simply depression, I said no, it is something else. She found comfort in the term immigrant syndrome, realizing that she was not alone. In her own words, I wasn't crazy. Actually, especially from the University of Barcelona and Berkeley, after years of studying immigrants, I found that this situation they face lead to more stress and can multiply their problems. Identifying the syndrome, which is not a disorder but a reaction, can bring immigrants who present these problems a better diagnosis, to prevent them to be marginalized, misunderstood, or simply diagnosed with depression. Only an immigrant can really understand what this journey entails. And today, I'm trying to explain this feeling to you. It is a road full of challenges, but also of personal growth and resilience. Resilience. We always hear this word about immigrants, right? All human beings are capable of adapting, definitely, but more change is demanded of us immigrants. People tell us, you can do it, don't complain, you are better off than those who are staying behind. Work, improve yourself, you have a golden opportunity. Come on, don't fail. Cry today and tomorrow forward. Go on, don't be weak. You must integrate into society, but still has roots in your home country. You are a minority, but lost among the millions of others. If one immigrant makes a mistake, immigrants are destroying this country. How about the rest who are doing good things? What do you mean? That's what they are supposed to do. Immigrants don't speak the language and not study. But if they speak the language and study, then they take our jobs. Caramba. You know what? It's really hard to leave everything behind and at the same time to carry all that. What if we don't want to be resilient? What if we want to be recognized not just for our ability to work, but also for a real contribution to this home? It shouldn't be just about that thing, but about creating a place where we all can be truly human. By the way, the adaptation is a continuous process of learning and assimilation. And in the meantime, we are expected to always be nice, smile, and be grateful. The reality is there are those who never manage to overcome these issues. In 2022, an immigrant from Guatemala had an accident in Brooklyn. Out of fear and ignorance, instead of waiting for the police or the ambulance, he chose to run. The only person injured in the accident. He ran until he reached a bar where he knew another Latinx were gathering. But once there, he collapsed and died. This man shared the fear many migrants face in silence. Fear of going outside and how to behave. Fear of being discriminated against for looking different. Fear of language barriers. Fear of their absence. Fear of political speech. Fear of even admitting they are afraid. Thinking about this, How do you explain an accident if you don't speak the language? When you see on TV that the police are not always on your side? And this fear becomes the worst enemy. For this man, sadly, there was no better future. Thus, it's imperative to build communities and systems that offer support, understanding, and empathy rather than perpetuate fear. Perhaps the deepest fear among immigrants is the fear of feeling illegal. In recent months, I have spoken with new migrants in New York City. A divorced woman from India seeking refuge due to the fear of harassment. Individuals from Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador ran away from cocaine mafias and extreme poverty. A Honduran girl was a victim of gender violence. A lady from Afghanistan is able to work and study here, something that is not allowed for women in her country. All of them share the same fear, the fear of returning home or staying here illegally. Many of them consider themselves illegal, but no human is illegal. Illegal is what some government and the system do to you. You deserve freedom, peace, and opportunities. Speaking of opportunities, back in the middle of my master, I knocked on so many doors looking for a work as a reporter, but none would open. One day, I got an email saying I was overqualified. How can you be overqualified if you are here to learn, to immerse yourself in American journalism? Anxiety greeted me, and it ran through the streets of Manhattan gasping. I was having another panic attack. Within the days, I understood that I needed help. I put ego aside and sought therapy, because sometimes it's a cultural issue, the reluctance to seek help. Or it's a matter of ego. I can do it alone. Or you've been told so often, you can do it, you're strong. Even now, during my grieving time, people are like, you have to be strong. I do not want to be strong. Of course I can, and you can. But it's okay if you cannot, or you feel bad while you are doing it. Right now, I feel really bad, but here I am. I have lost my father, but I'm here because of him. Not only because he procreated me, he did it. It's because he was extremely proud that I was going to be here today in front of you talking about this. Many times in life, we have to take a strength of what hurts us, accept the pain, the grief, and move forward with the loss of our loved one in our heart, because most of us cannot go back. And I can say this in this way because I have taken care of my mental health. In fact, taking the steps of going to therapy transformed my perspective. Whether social connections, therapy, or giving ourselves permission to be vulnerable, it is a fundamental step on the road to emotional well-being. And so I learned that surrendering is sometimes the bravest act we can do for ourselves. It's not just about where we come from, but where we are going. In my own reflection, I never forget where I came from. Our roots don't define us completely, but they are a vital part of who we are now. My land is wonderful. Venezuela is beautiful. Our past has value, and the people we remember are important. But that's not the reason we are here. That's why, as immigrants, as humans, we have to be clear about our purpose. After my panic attack, I found my first employment in the United States as a freelancer reporter for the New York Times. After being a driver, working in a fruit packing company, and taking pictures at events, all good jobs. And now I'm working at CNN. After knocking on so many doors, and still I'm doing it. There are many people who don't believe in you, but you must be focused on those who do. Thank you. Sometimes, even close ones may not understand our struggles until we share them. My alarm went off when someone very close to me, after seeing my post on Instagram a year ago, said that they told their psychologist they wanted to be as happy as I looked. At that precise moment, I was depressed. I ate once a day. I had anxiety. I isolated myself as much as I could. I had insomnia. But we don't show usually this on social media. In front of my friend, I felt guilty, being part of the fake happiness portrayed online, like pretending to be. Stop then and say, no, that's not true. I am not okay. I am in pain. That night, a year ago, I decided to talk about mental health and well-being as immigrants. So before my time is up and I run out of coffee, I'll give you the tips that are more essential than Wi-Fi for mental health and wellness. Yes. It's okay to feel down. You are a survivor, don't forget it. Patience is a super powerful ally. For example, learning a new language takes time, but it's worth it. And we still don't have artificial intelligence chips in our brains to speak another languages without studying them. Another bad joke, I know, but it's true. Self-care is a mission. Give yourself time to let those emotional wounds heal. Vent to friends, run, scream, allow yourself to be dramatic every now and then, not too much, but allow it. And please, find a doctor to check your physical and mental health. Breathe, get dressed and go outside, even just around the corner. And sure thing, it's okay to be nice, smile, and be grateful. And so important, say to your loved one, even from afar, how much you lost them. Te amo, madre. And last but not least, ask for help. Not always, but it's harder to hide our feelings and our thoughts and not ask for help than to do so. Asking for help is liberating. Once we accept what is happening to us, once we accept the ruin, the fear, once we understand that being resilient means being human and we are not alone in this, things get better. I know I will never hug my father again in this life, even though I know he's here now embracing me. Death is irreversible, but life we can change. Except for really hard situations and clinical mental health issues, life's opportunity highly depend on us on how much we want to achieve. Therefore, having a purpose is more important than fulfilling anyone else's expectations. In the end, to answer the question of what a better future is, I think there is no better future than this present one. And I can say it properly, not only because of my grief. It's because each one of you is a door that in no future I had ever imagined I thought could be opened. Because doors are open, right? And you are alive, don't take it for granted. Let's open the doors. Te amo, papá. Thank you.